What's up, my loves and fellow creatives? I knew I was going to hear echo somewhere. Let me fix that for a second. Hold on. All right, I'm checking one more time. I still have echo. Let me go ahead and mute this and then I'll be right back. All right, so I'm thinking that works. Yep, looks like it worked. All right, so yes, this is a surprise. I'm actually waiting on some parts to come in for the all over buddy for assembly. So since I'm waiting, and hopefully they come in today, um, I'm working on something random. It was a challenge. I want to see if I can kind of do the clean method, make it look all over on something that is very difficult to press. I don't have a hoodie. I actually have a jacket. So let me show you what I am attempting right now. And it's just from prints that I already have. So we are going to hopefully make this work today. Where is it? This one right here. What's up, Quisha? I'm gonna do my best to do some like during the day too. Some lives. I don't know. I'm gonna switch it up and see why y'all aren't getting notifications. I've heard that you have to like take notifications off, like unsubscribe, resubscribe, and then make sure that you put your notifications on all, not personalized. And then that way it kind of resets it as something that you want to see. Um, for some reason the algorithms changed and people weren't getting notifications, so that has been what is explained to me as the best way to make sure you get the notifications. Yeah, y'all know I'm random, so even if I told y'all, hey, I'm gonna go live tomorrow at 5, it'd probably be like 8 at night or something. So I don't like to announce it. I don't like to let people down. I just like to show up and show out. All right, so I'm pulling this one up. It's taking a little minute. I'm using a lot of resources on these internets. And I'm not going to do the photoshopping. This is basically what we did yesterday in class for 151. So my challenge today is just to kind of make something where I started yesterday. I made like one side of one sleeve. And I was like, well, I wonder if I'm going to be able to continue this type of process. So, what I decided to do to make sure that the challenge is like real, like you can really tell what I'm doing, I was going to do different prints in these different areas so we can see maybe which areas are hardest or what I can and cannot do with the large format press. I may have to even turn on my small press because some things it just may be too much to try to do under the large press. We'll see if we come across that. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get my little camera ready. Y'all can rock with me. Like I said, I'm just doing a little randomness and checking in with y'all. All right, so I'm going to grab my camera. And y'all won't hear me for a moment, but it's okay. I'll be right back. right, y'all, let me know if you can hear me. I got my phone camera set up. All right, so y'all just gonna travel around with me, see what we're doing. Oh, I guess I'm gonna start over here anyway because I have to lay out. So let me turn off this screen. All right, so like I said, we got a little randomness going on. I'm trying to see what you all see. So got a couple of projects that I'm playing with, but I like to do my projects alone, like when I'm playing, because I just don't know what I'm going to come up against. And let me put some Teflon down here so my project can slide around. Make it a little bit easier. Maneuvering around. Okay, so the reason why I decided to go with all these different prints is because I wanted to see, you know, how far can we go with this whole make it look like it was cut and sewn thing. So, and this time I'm using my back camera because I think the camera quality was a little off. I was using a front facing camera last time. So y'all let me know if this is any better. So I think I'm gonna turn it this way. I'm gonna do what's best for the views, and hopefully I can also do what's best for me as far as being able to cut, because I'm right-handed, so I'm trying to make sure y'all get best view and you can see what I'm actually doing. So I need my craft blade like I had yesterday, my Olfa knife, use a cutting board, what they call a self-healing cutting mat. I'm going to use that so I don't cut through my Teflon. And then I'll come around this way so maybe I can see what I'm doing while I'm trying to show you what I'm doing. Yeah, I think I can see this way. All right, so what I was trying to show you all yesterday, maybe, I don't think it can zoom though. That's the only thing, like once we get started, I don't think it can zoom. So let me see if I can bring you a little closer physically. Come on in, come on in. Now I'm still claiming that camera person, that cameraman or woman, that professional that's going to make this channel do what it do. One of these days it's coming. I'm claiming it. All right. So what I was trying to express to you all yesterday, what I was doing is I'm following this curve here by creating a crease. But as I go, I have to rotate and I have to roll the paper. So I'm creating a curve out of line segments. So every time I press down, I'm creating a little pinch, but I'm doing it in very small increments so that eventually it creates what looks like a curve. So imagine if you were trying to sketch a circle, and you know, if you don't do continuous line to make a circle, you just kind of sketch. Each little line segment is what I'm, you know, kind of pressing down right now. So I'm trying to get really and truly right up underneath this thing. And I'll bring it in once I feel like I've gotten it, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. And now I have to curve back out, so that's even more difficult. Once you've curved in and then you have to curve back out like an S, it's even more difficult. But it's happening. It's happening. I'm not gonna say it's working yet till I figure that part out. So let's see if y'all can see. Yeah, I think you can see a little bit of that crease that's there. You see that crease there? Basically, I created that by just creating little pinches along the way. Now, I could, let me get a pencil and maybe it would, or a pen. I don't want to use a Sharpie because I feel like I might mark up the shirt. But let me do a pen maybe and I can kind of show you what it looked like. Maybe not. This pen is not going to show you anything. Okay, there we go. And that's what that fold created. If you can see that on the screen. All right, so now I'm going to use my mat underneath because I don't want to cut my fabric and I don't want to cut my Teflon. So be careful here. And I'm going to take my blade, and really what I should be following is that fold and not necessarily this line I drew because this is yet another interpretation of the original information. So I'm just holding my blade down to where just the tip is what's touching the mat. And I'm doing my best, and I'm not really doing my best because obviously I'm off. I should have been cutting more towards the inside of that. So let me see if I can correct it down here. Because it's better that I left a little too much than to cut off too much. So now I'm trying to be a little more, I was being too conservative. I want to be more exact. All right, I'm just following my line. I have way too much of my blade exposed, so my blade is actually flexing. But I'm gonna make it do what it do, baby. All right, I think I made it do what it's supposed to have did. All right, I got a little excess here. I'm gonna go for a trim, and I'm reaching all across this board right now, so it's very awkward. So I hope you all can even see. I want to trim a little bit of that off. Here we go. And if you're a person that does like car wraps or what are they, the striping and that sort of thing, you probably are a lot better at trimming this kind of stuff than I have ever dreamed to be. And I'm going to keep these little pieces. I have a little scrap bin that when I need to sublimate something like a random mask or something like that, I'm learning to just keep my scraps, and I can do some pretty cool kind of random dual-sided randomness. All right, so that was that one. Now I'm gonna do a little more spray tack, and I really should have some paper down while I'm spraying right here, because I don't want to. Well, I'll just wipe it. I'll wipe it off my Teflon. I'll say I'm gonna wipe it off my Teflon. I probably won't. Okay. So I already spray tacked it down here because I did not want this moving around while I was trying to cut this curve here. That's the thing too. So you have to secure one part so that, yeah, you'll get this curve good and cut, and then everything else will move on you. You won't know where your curve is supposed to go back on. So I'm just going to lightly mist. I'm just going to pull it back just a little bit. Trying not to spray too much because I just have this edge here, and I'm actually pulling my fabric a little bit, stretching my fabric a little bit to make sure that this paper kind of makes it underneath that cut, and I think that's going to help me clean it up. And then the next one that I do, maybe going the other way, maybe my goal will be to cut over so that we have a nice little intentional overlap. We'll see. I'm being real scientific right now, but I guarantee you I will never make another one of these again. This is not something that I would do, you know, just on the regular. It's just, for me, it's not my type of thing anymore. But this is the type of thing that I used to do. Like, to make stuff like really unique and really stand out, it's just, I would do what I had to do. So I'm going to go ahead and take this over to the press now. So let me drag y'all over there with me. Put some paper down first. And I believe my little battery pack is working today, so hopefully this phone doesn't give out on me. All right, let's see what you can see. I think that'll allow y'all to see pretty well while still letting me get rid of stuff. Here we go. Now, because I'm just doing a sleeve right now, I'm going to use a smaller piece of paper because once I'm done with that sleeve, I want to get rid of that paper. All right, so you see the one we did yesterday? Let's see if that was a fluke or if we can do it again. Now I have my my all over buddy system on here right now because I want a little extension of my workspace, especially, you know, having things this large or with long sleeves or just in general. It just gives you a little extra space to have things not roll off the table and slide off the table and end up with a big mess. Now, I'm going to do my best to smooth out the areas around the sleeve because obviously they're going to get a little pressing too. And my biggest area of concern is going to be right under the armpit. But I don't want to compromise my top of my shoulder trying to save the bottom of my armpit. So I'm going to make a little sacrifice under the armpit, and it'll just have to have a little bit of white if it just happens to have a little bit of white. All right. And I put like a little bit of cover paper right here just in case this happens to fold down on top of here. I don't want the ink to bleed into this armpit. So let's get a little tiny piece. Put your paper here. So I'm just going to place it right there. And then that's also going to create a pressure point, an uneven point of pressure. So if I can get it smoothed out, great. If not, then I can only do what I can do. Let's go ahead and also place some cover paper on top of this. And I'm not putting a big old piece of cover paper because I really want to see what's covered and what's getting pressed. So let's see. I'm not even going to push this all the way under because I don't want the entire thing to press. Just want this sleeve here. All right, so if I hover over, I can see what I'm going to make contact with. Looks like I'm going to make contact with that collar. So I want to slide it over a little bit. All right, and see if I am no longer connected with the collar, but I want to make sure that I'm getting the bottom of this sleeve and push it under just a little bit. All right, I should be getting everything there. All right, moment of truth is on its way. Oh, and I need to put a little bit of paper here because just in case the last thing I was pressing has some ink up in this top Teflon, I'm feeling sorry for myself, so let's make sure we have that covered. And I'm just going to peek around here, make sure I didn't clamp anything down I didn't mean to. Now this is a jacket instead of a hoodie, so I'm going to do, it's like a mock neck zip up jacket, but it's the same exact material as the hoodie we did yesterday. And if you missed the hoodie, you could go back and watch the replay. We had some fun. It was late last night, but we decided after we did class to do an application, and maybe we won't do that like immediately after class anymore because I kept y'all up way too late last night. So we're just waiting on that. I think the timer's going. Yep, timer's going. We're almost done. Oh, and this, I tightened this pressure up a little bit too, because I wasn't getting what I wanted around the collar of my t-shirts. So I'm probably really tight on the sweatshirt because it's a thicker fabric. But I'm probably not going to adjust it just for one sweatshirt. So hopefully it is good for this application. Okay, so I'm going to take a sneak peek here. It looks like it's shifted a little bit over the seam, but generally it still looks good. And there's going to be a little unevenness here. This is a really thick seam here from this sleeve to the wristband, so it's a little bit of lightness here. And honestly, if I was really concerned about it, I would press it again, but I'm not. And you can always tell because when you pick up the print, you can actually see where the ink did not transfer all the way, and you can press a second time and it would go into the fabric even more. But everything else looks good. I'm gonna let that go. And let's see. So let's see how this entire sleeve looks. We have the front and the back of the sleeve. And I'll open it up for a second just to show what it looks like with the overlap, because of course you're gonna have a seam down the center because we did not open the sleeve up and press it that way. It would have been way too difficult to do that. But what I did was I reversed the print, or I used the reverse print to sort of make it look like it's continuing, and I think I kind of got it, y'all. I think I continued that pretty well. I was doing my best to keep it seamless. Okay, and of course you're gonna have some imperfections where the sleeves are. So under the armpits, where the sleeve was, if I open this up, of course you're gonna see some white there. Okay, so that is just the nature of sublimation in general, but our goal is to kind of make it look cut and sew. Okay, all right, I call this the clean method. Last night we did the dirty method. That was one of my favorite things, which is randomness. I use that word quite a lot because that describes my entire life. So we did some randomness last night, and it still was a lot of presses, but it was much easier to control. Okay, so we're gonna have quite a time. So we'll do the other sleeve, and then we'll do the front body and the back body. So the other sleeve, we're going to take you back over to the other work surface I was working on because it's higher. I have some adjustable tables now, like electric adjustable tables, y'all. So up here at the academy in the lab. So I'm trying to get fancy for y'all. All right, I'm trying to get fancy. I would adjust it right now, but it's actually across two tables. But up, up, up. You see that? Up, up. So no more bending over to do these all overs and stuff. We can stand up, have a nice ergonomic height. And now when we do the workshops, when we're traveling doing the workshops, I can't bring my adjustable table. So whatever table is there, your back is going to tell you if that's the right height for you. And it's probably going to be a no. If it's a sitting table, it's going to be very difficult to just hover over that table and tile your pieces and stuff. However, you're going to do it, and you're going to do it well. And then you're going to have some understanding of some of the benefits of different types of workspaces and setups, such as the all over buddy. All right, so I'm doing the sleeve. I don't know. I'm already quite intimidated by this. I don't know if y'all can see this, but it has seams in the center. It has a zipper. It has an overlap zipper. So basically, this material here is even thicker to cover the zipper. So this is going to be a challenge. Like I said, it's a challenge. And I'm not playing with y'all when I tell y'all this is a challenge. Now, this time I'm going to try to do it from this direction. Maybe you'll see a little bit better because I should be able to cut this way. So let's see. This one we are going to use. Oh, you know what? I think I forgot to print that one. I didn't print that one yet, that sleeve print. So let me go ahead and print it. And let me see if I can share my screen with you to show you printing it. Share the screen. And you're seeing my screen. All right. think this is what I was intending to print. And I just need to print one of these. But can I print something on the other side since I have some space over there? This is 28 by 36 right now. Oh no, I already have this one. I need to print this one. And just take off the layer mask. And I'll print this one as well. This will have something filling up the other side of the page. In the folder, on your own layer. There you go. Alright, so let's file, print. And I'm going to print on, this is a 36-inch printer, the 5270. And Photoshop's going to manage colors with the ICC profile. Let's print. Yes, it's going to proceed to cut off some of my edges, and that's just basically the margin where it gives you that error, because I don't have it set up to print full bleed. I don't want to do that. It causes a mess for no reason. So I'm going to go ahead and print this one out, and give it a moment. I'm going to go ahead and save this because I was putting all my patterns on one file so that if I did in the future ever want to recreate this, which I pretty much guarantee that I'm not going to recreate this, I'll have this set up. Or maybe I want to do an alternate version and switch out the patterns. I'll have all my measurements already there. And this one is an extra large ladies jacket. It is from Sanmar. It's from Sanmar, and it is, what is it? I don't remember the code name for it, but it's Sport Tech. And if you look up the zip up Sport Tech, this is the actual fleece. They also have one that's thinner that works well as like a layered piece that you can do in cool and warm times. Long sleeve, they have the quarter zip. They don't have an all the way down zip, but the quarter zip one, they have this style. And it's really nice. All right, so while that is printing, oh, y'all can't hear. Can you all hear now? I think I just have to stay near the phone. Let me know if you can hear now before I get going. All right, so printer's over there printing. Let me show you the printer printing. All right, so printer's printing. Like I said, it's going to do a sleeve on one side, and then I have some prints that I'm going to put in probably around the bottom of the band. If I thought about it, I might have put it around the wristband too, to kind of chop up each of the sections. But yeah, that'd be a little extra, maybe a little too much. This is already extra. And the funny thing is, I was using prints that I already had for the setup, and I was like, you know what? This jacket is going to be so random that it will match almost all of my uniform shirts, literally, because all of these are templates. Of course, y'all know the templates. But these are templates that I created for you all, but then I'll go back and I'll say, you know what, let me use some of these templates. And I put them in the CMYK color mode, or not color mode, but color scheme. And then that way it kind of goes with my true colors, my Innate Lab, my Innate Academy, and it just shows off the True Colors ink. So I like to do very colorful things just because it shows off the quality, especially of the Pro ink. All right, so that one is almost done printing. I suppose while that's finished printing, so y'all don't just like it's like watching paint. Well, I guess it's a little more exciting than watching paint dry. We can go ahead. Yeah, I'm scared to do this front. I'm not even gonna lie. I am. I'm even afraid to do the back because I know that zipper is gonna come through. Like I know this. I know this. This I know. So I'm thinking. Let's see what I can do here. At least I can open that up. But then I'm going to end up with some wrinkles that I don't want. Guaranteed. Okay. Yep. So let me try something else. And y'all might be asking, hey, can you put a pillow in there? Is there something you can put inside? To mitigate a thick zipper like that, probably not really. What you would have to do is actually strategically place like some um, rubber or something that has a channel cut out where this would actually sink into it. And that your girl is not going to do for a jacket. Like I would rather cut and sew than do something like that. So I'm hoping that my design is so crazy on the back that, oh, can y'all see me now? I'm not even paying attention to what y'all can see. Hold on, let me put my StreamYard back on the screen. That's what I gotta do. Here we go. Y'all can see me. All right, so the back design is kind of busy. I did that on purpose. And the front has that black. So y'all already know when you press black and it is not even, or you have to press it in multiple locations and overlap, that black gives you issues. So I chose a challenge for the challenge. All right, so I'm gonna just go ahead and see what I can do with this badge. This actually would probably set the tone for the whole project. So if it messed up, I probably would have such a big attitude that I wouldn't do anything else for the rest of the day. This is what these type of projects will do to you. All right, so I'm trying to fold in this neck here and see if I can. That zipper is absolutely in the way. So maybe, let's see. Do a little pre-pressing and see what this does. And I am going to set something inside here. I just haven't figured it out yet. Let's see. It can't be too thick because then you would see wherever the drop off is. And it can't be too thin because it would not make any difference. I don't think the Teflon insert is going to help me here. Because, look, I say that, but let me just try it. I'm just going to try and see. This is an old Teflon insert, like one of my first ones I ever did. So I'm going to use this one and kind of custom cut it. So let's see if that works. Now, normally I would cut this a lot neater, and I wouldn't cut it with scissors. I would use my craft blade. I have a big old cutting self-healing mat. It is about this 4 feet by 8 feet. So that's what I use to cut things like this. However, because I'm already in this setup, and I'm not near my cutting board, we're going to make this work. All right, now those sleeves are going to be a little odd anyhow because of the way they fold. So I'm not placing too much emphasis on that. But I do want it to kind of give me a little bit of feel. So you come to this other end. Let's see if this will work. I want to touch a fabric. And it is difficult to mark Teflon. So if you thought you were just going to get a Sharpie and draw on this, you'd probably be sadly mistaken. And see, this one has the arm straight out, so automatically this would have been better cut as a custom, like if I started with a square sheet of Teflon, because then I would have been able to make the sleeves point down. And that's why it's important to know that your Teflon inserts are created for certain cuts of shirts. Like the Teflon inserts that we have on Innate Lab are for the 21M shirts. And you'll notice that some shirts, a lot of shirts, the ones that you notice, the bunching and the tents, I call these tents. When I see these triangles underneath the armpits, it's because the shirt sleeves are meant to point down. The more your shirt is intended to, stick straight out, then it becomes easier to press as an all over because it has less material down here to bunch up. So just a rule of thumb, when you are picking your shirts, just pay attention to that. I use a 21M because it's one of the easiest and one of my favorites to do this type of, or any all over process with. And also, if you notice, 21Ms are, they're seamless on the sides. Pay attention to your shirts. They don't have a seam on the sides. That means they are knitted all the way around whatever the width of that shirt is. So this means that if there are no seams on the sides, it can get pressed flatter and even on these sides. And then under the armpits, you don't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of fabric trying to come together and make a point in the armpit. What you have is 1, 2, 3, 4. So half of the amount of material has to meet at that crossroads under the armpit. So that is another reason why the 21M shirts are easier to press as all over shirts. You'll start to pay attention to stuff like that. There are very few shirts and brands that are, especially polyester, that are continuously knitted all around. That means that for every size shirt, it's like making a tube sock. You know how you don't have seams on the side of your tube sock? You ever thought about that? It's knitted exactly the width that it needs to be all the way around. And then when they pull it off of whatever source, all they have to do is sew the top of the sock and the end of it. Same thing with these shirts. They're knitted tubular. This is what it's called. It's a tubular knit, so it goes all the way around. And then what they do is they just cut off the top where the sleeves are inset. And then, of course, they have to cut the sleeves and inset them. All right, so I got my little tiny arms there, but they're going to go in here. And hopefully this gives me some kind of help here. All right. Zip it back up. Let's see if I can shake and bake. I shake it just to kind of get it in the right place. Make sure the arm's laid down. And the cool thing about Teflon is slick on the surface, right? So it's easy to get it in place. But whenever, this is a Teflon fabric, so it has these ends here, these edges that are cut. And the edges expose the weave, right? And that weave happens to catch the fabric of the shirt. So it kind of snags it a little bit on purpose. And when it snags it, it helps you to stretch your shirt so that you can stretch out those wrinkles. So that's one of the reasons why this system works. All right, and if you can see how it's just sticking there. If I pull it out and I tell it where to go, it's kind of like a Velcro. You know, Velcro will kind of attract and stay in place until you move it around. All right. So I'm trying to work with these insets and these sleeves, but of course it's a long sleeve, so I got to get in there. All right. And then when I do the sleeve, I probably will actually take the insert out. I'm not going to lie, because the sleeves actually fall pretty flat on their own. I'm doing this to hopefully skate over some of these bumpity bumps. Okay, so that is the reason why I'm using this Teflon insert, because this substrate is, you know, pretty flat and it's not very wrinkled. But the problem that I'm having is that it has a lot of levels of different thicknesses, because there are a lot of different seams. I don't know if y'all can see this like princess seam here, but yeah, it's probably not going to be fun. All right, so I'm stretching that out, and see how when I pull it and stretch it out, it kind of hugs and hangs on to the side of this Teflon sheet here. Oh, y'all. Oh, something else I could try too. I don't think I'm going to try it though. I have a craft press, and that might work better for getting around some of these areas, but we'll see if we want to introduce that to the project. The craft press I found does, when you overlap, it really shows your overlap, and that's not what I want to see. All right, so we said we're going to do the back, so I'm going to go ahead and focus on that. And it does help me float a little bit over that zipper up there, but it's not done. So I'm thinking, ooh, you know what I might be able to do? I might be able to tack this down and then open up the zipper and press this on the small press. Release up there at the top. I think that's what I might do. Because this right here is this is real thick. That zipper is. Let me see if I unzip it a little bit. It's still thick up there, even with the unzip. That could work, kind of. I feel a little less thick up here, but it's still bulky. It's still super bulky up here. It's bulky. All right, let's just see what it does. I'm eager now. So this is our back print. I'm going to go ahead and trim it off from our accent print. Let's see, let's go ahead and find the center here. Pinch and pinch. And I'm going to roll this down and see where my image ends up here. That's about centered there. And I'm going to spray this here, but like I said yesterday, normally I spray this in the trash can, but this is like just an awkward job. So I'm just doing whatever I have to do to just get it done today. So you don't want to spray all over your surfaces and stuff. That's what you don't want. Okay. And we're just tacking it down so that when I am ready to do my cuts, nothing is going to move around on me for the most part. I'm really interested to see how that is going to press up there. So I'm not concerned with it falling off the edge here. I want it to naturally fall off there. However, I'm going to have to cut down here. So again, I'm rolling and pressing, and it is not a straight line, even if I wanted to believe that. And because this is yellow, well, the one that I'm doing below this is going to have a white background, so the yellow is going to overpower. So you have to kind of keep in mind which one, if your prints do touch, which you're hoping to have some overlap there, which one is going to be dominant. And the dominant one, you probably want to go ahead and pull that down a little lower, because that'll be like a cleanup. All right, so I did press that down. I need my cutting mat here. Do as little damage as possible. Lift that up a little bit. Now you can actually use the seam itself. And this is why I like being on a Teflon. I'm just able to slide that. It's nice. You can use the seam itself to cut along that seam, but as soon as you cut that fabric, you're going to be mad at yourself. So I am cutting probably from the wrong side of this thing, because I can't entirely see. And I think my graphic might be a little crooked, because I can see here. I think it is. But it's on there now, so it's going. I see I have a little less room here than I have here, which means that my graphic is skewed there. All right, so light pressure, gliding. I'm not trying to cut a hole in my cutting mat. I'm just literally just letting the blade do the work. And then as I was talking, thinking I was being all pro level, I went off track. I'm just going to correct it. And go ahead and cut my crooked line straight. Okay. I just guessed whatever that was, because it's probably excess. All right. And now let me go to the other side of the board and see if I'm going to be able to get this in the view. Y'all see? I think you see. All right, so same process we were doing before. I have to actually pull some of this tack off, because this is an extreme curve. So I'm going to have to start out, come in, and then go back out. So this one's more like a letter C. All right. All right, so I am starting to pinch, rolling, pinching, rolling, and pinching. This is probably sounding more fun than it actually is, because this is a little nerve-wracking. All right, I'm rolling again. And see, the more that you are feeling that roll and pinch is extreme, you can tell that is a hard curve to follow. And if you were to like really think you were going to just willy-nilly cut that curve by eye, you'd probably be mad at yourself. I don't think I'm going to blade. I'm going to fold my Teflon up inside of this sleeve, because the Teflon sleeve is in the way of my bend right here. I want to be on point. All right, let's see what that looks like. See that curve there? And I think my feet falling out. Here it is. I'm just gonna cut on top of the fabric, but not on top of the fabric. I'm lifting it up a little bit. So I'm suspending it. So my cut, because I'm not resting on the cutting board, my cut is not going to be as precise. So I should just use the cutting board. I'm going to cut this off. That's excess. So I'm just resting my pinky down and letting the blade glide. And then my hand is actually in the way, so if you have some lighting, that would be better. I have no lighting overhead, and literally my whole hand shadow is covering my curve here. So bear with me, y'all. It's a curve. It's a curve. It is a curve. You might want to secure it, so go ahead and get tacked down all the way down here now. And I actually have to account for that little puckering that's happening underneath the armpit. I have to actually press the puckering into my print, which is hurting my feelings a little bit because I did want it to be clean. But I don't think there's anything you can do about under the sleeve. I'm doing the same process to this neckline right now. I'm rolling it up to the seam and pinching it. All right. And this time I am going to use my cutting mat, see if that makes me feel more confident. I'm hanging off the table a little bit, so let me push this down on my Teflon. All right, so let me see if I can draw this up for y'all. If I draw it, I'm introducing even more error because it's another interpretation for me to follow. But I think it'll help you see what I'm doing on screen. All right, so start here, hold it taut, and I'm not even putting any pressure down on this. This is so much easier than cutting with the paper in the air. So yeah, use your cutting board or your cutting mat. All right, yeah, that was much better. Those scraps might come in handy for something. Whew, already I'm tired, boss. Okay, so now I have to get the other side of the back of the jacket. So for the curve, I'm actually going to start under the armpit because I can see better this direction. And I want to make sure that I'm overlapping the existing print just a little bit. Otherwise, I'll have a white gap that will probably look kind of weird. And when the fabric stretches and moves, you may or may not even get the overlap that you think you had. Fabric is funny like that. And this kind of feels like molding clay. You've ever like molded clay, you're trying to get those little crisp corners, and you're just using your fingers to pinch the material whatever way you can to get the shape that you want. That is precisely what this feels like, me molding clay. Which sounds pretty impossible, like how molding clay and working with paper sublimation feel the same, but that's my best way to describe it. Because you're creating a curve out of something flat. All right, so again, let me sketch it so y'all can see. And even when I sketch it, I'm not being rough. I'm not like putting my hand down and coloring like a 3-year-old. I am literally just gliding the pen across. So hopefully I can just glide this blade across. So hands up. If you need to use your pinky to rest, use your pinky to rest. Yeah, if I do all of this and I still see that full zipper through this shirt, I promise y'all, I'm gonna throw like a toddler fit. I'm gonna throw a fit. Just so y'all know, be ready. Be ready for that. Because I feel like I took my time and tried to show y'all the right way that I was supposed to do something, not what I would do if I was probably here by myself. And oh, it looks like I have a little too much here. It's within my overlap. I think it's a little too much. My leg. That should be good. Man, I don't know what this is gonna do on this all over press right now, but we're gonna about to see. Let me take y'all over to the station and let's see what we end up with. I already cut the bottom, right? Yep. You can hear by my huff and puff how excited I am about doing this. All right. And I am going to pull this out. I'm handling this probably a little rougher than I should because I should have kept this flat and consistent. But I forgot I didn't remove my paper, my old paper. Get rid of that. Oh boy. I think I am absolutely really wanting to do this on the 16 by 20. Because although I really like the fact that I'll be able to have full pressure, it's gonna, let's see. We're gonna see, and at least we'll have some knowledge of what this does. So if I'm gonna do that, then I'm definitely gonna have to fold up this Teflon inside of this sleeve. Roll it up. It's going to take a little while for this other heat press to heat up. So, since I already have y'all live, I don't want to keep you waiting too long. So, we'll see what we can make this do. Now, I did unzip the zipper in the front, but it's still under there. So, this is going to be fairly interesting. And it feels so chunky under that neckline. Super chunky under that neckline. Let's pull this up. Now this sleeve is done. I mean, I don't want to put creases in it, but I wouldn't be so concerned about this one. This one was going to crease it before I even get to it, so that will be a little bit of a bummer. But if we can see if this actually helps with this press, oh boy. And this, I think this particular zipper should not melt. I think I've done this one before. So you have to check because not all zippers are created equal. If you press some of these things that have zippers in them, if that zipper will permanently be closed and melted into your, I'm turning this zipper around now, so hopefully I don't have the zipper flipped the wrong way. I'm going to face down smooth. So yeah, you'll permanently have a welded zipper if you don't pay attention to that. All right, so I think I'm even gonna go inside of this thing and cut these sleeves off because they are definitely hindering me right now. Just cut these little tabs off. They're at the wrong angle and it's pulling on my garment. I think I might even have to undress it and get it out. Oh, that worked. All right, so hang out, buddy. Don't mess me up. I already got enough issues right now with this zipper. So I believe the zipper's feeling flat here right now. This side is not. So I'm gonna make sure it's laying down. And it's tamed. Move these out the way, get it off my Teflon. And under there. All right, let's get a little cover paper here. And for 60 seconds, we are going to say a prayer, okay? Let me see, do I need to, it won't even matter if I point the collar down and out because the collar is still going to need to be underneath the press. So we're about to see. And this is going to be super heavy pressure. So just make sure it's all the way covered. And, oh, there we go. It's done. It's done. Whatever comes out is what comes out. Now I do have the smaller heat press going. I do have some extra jackets and stuff too, but I'm probably only going to do this once in a lifetime, like literally. But if this doesn't work out for the back, then maybe I will try that same process for the back on the 16 by 20 and see if I get better results. So I have 20 more seconds of thinking and praying. So y'all make sure that y'all on the same page with me now. We got 15 more seconds of thinking and praying. All right. So I possibly will want to give it more time because it has all of those different levels of thickness. The more time you give it, a lot of times it will eventually seep into those areas. Just get a few more seconds. Woo! All right. Let's see. I'm going to do a little sneak peek. Where I'm really truly concerned is right up here at the collar. So, and I can even see, like, I can see the indents in here, y'all. I can see the indents through the paper. Let's see. What I'm most concerned about is right under this collar. So if I put a little more heat to this collar, it looks like it might be okay. Hopefully the zipper's okay. You put a little bit more heat. We'll see. We'll see. We'll go one more round. Hit it. Y'all, this thing is super tight right now. Ooh, oh, shoot. My cover paper isn't covering my sleeve right there, but at least I have Teflon on the top. I didn't see that. So my cover paper is plenty covered over here, and then I forgot to shift it back on this side when I did my repress. All right, so if that works, then I might be a little more confident in this process. I still wouldn't do it again, but I will be more confident in the process. So we'll see how it looks with the, because you have the princess seams in the front, you have the actual zipper lap. So you have a lap on both sides of the zipper with the zipper pieces underneath it. And then the actual zipper piece is pulled down to the bottom right now. But the top tab for the zipper piece is still underneath the collar. So we'll see how all of those different variations make this turn out. All right. Check it, are you okay? Check it, are you okay? Are you okay? Check it, are you okay? Check it, are you okay? Are you okay? Check it. Hold on. Here's the. It is not as bad as I thought, but I do see a little bite right here. I'm definitely not going to press it over again for that. Oh, look here where my zipper is. I could have definitely used a pillow or something here too, because I can feel it. Now it's straightening a lot. But it kind of, in my design, it looks like, ooh, the rays from here. But I think I could have made a custom foam pillow as well, because here's the other thing about pillows too. Depending on how thick they are, they kind of like make your image drop off if you're doing like all over like this. But I think I could have used the pillow to overlap just this part, maybe even come all the way out to here. It's just I don't have foam here, but that would have worked. I think that would have worked well. So that was my most concerning part. And with me pressing this again, it kind of looks like it took a little bit of my color out of my sleeve. So maybe in the future, I will go ahead and press my back first anyhow. All right, well, that was probably the scariest of parts. But now I have like creases where I don't want creases too. So we're going to have to figure that part out. And because I'm done with the back, I'm going to take the Teflon out and see how it presses without the Teflon. All right, so back, and this is, my zipper is not fused together, even though I pressed it 2 times under this heat. So let's make sure the zipper still works. Zipper still works. Oh my gosh, and this is just the beginning of the process. We have one sleeve in the back, and the back is not what I would want it to be. I see this down here, and colors are great though. This Pro Ink is definitely the truth. But I think this can kind of also look like, you know, lightning or whatever. But this absolutely is not what I would have wanted for this design. Okay, so I'm going to do the front of this, and I'm not going to put anything underneath there. I'm just going to let it naturally do what it does, and we'll see about that. Now for the collar, we'll probably make something up, put something on in the collar, and the inside and the outside, hopefully. All right, so we still have to do a sleeve. I'm going to do the sleeve last. I'm going to go ahead and see if we can set this front up. And I'm going to get away from this heat because it's hot. And I start to get a little perturbed around heat. All right, so let's make it back over to our layout table. So definitely pressing pillow. And I think somebody said pressing pillow absolutely would have helped. But it would have had to be a custom one because it would have had to have been big enough to go from the top to the bottom of this thing. And I think I have a roll of that foam, and I have Teflon, so I could have made my own pillows. But like I said, for this once-in-a-lifetime project, for YouTube, for y'all, for the innate creatives, I did this just for y'all. Just for y'all. All right, looks like my print kind of wrapped around the side there too. All right, so let's go ahead and do this front. We're going to go and get it over with. Now, what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to make the print go all the way up into the collar. And that print there actually came from my Teflon sheet because y'all see I didn't cover it. The last time I used it, I didn't cover it. So Teflon will hold ink. And I even wiped it down, but it still holds ink, and it will transfer into the inside of your next garment. Unless you do, like I'll show you how to do with the Teflon inserts in the buddy system, you use the low-tack masking tape to protect your Teflon, and then that way all you have to do is pull that masking tape off every time you do a different project. All right, so let's see how this is coming out now. We got seams up here. We have seam right here. We have 2 pockets right here. So we actually have pockets, and then you can't see it here, but there's, of course, the pocket on the inside. We have the zipper that, although it's not in our press area, it's still going to be under the press. So I'm probably going to pull my zipper down to here. And then what I'll do is I will do my best to make sure that this stays lined up. I'll put some tape underneath here. Let me grab some masking tape. I'm making this, oh, not masking tape, because masking tape, when it heats up, is going to stick to my fabric. I'm going to, and I don't have wide heat tape. I'll use spray adhesives and some scrap paper. Y'all, I'm just making this up as I go along, so please understand that this is just a part of the prototyping innovative process when you're trying to do something for the first time. I'm just doing it in front of y'all, that's all. This is not anything that I've done in this capacity ever before, and I'll ever plan on doing this again. All right, so I'm going to spray a little adhesive here. Like I said, you should be doing this in a trash can, outside, etc. I'm spraying this because I want the zipper to stay in the same place when my graphic is on here. So I'm actually going to zip it and then probably unzip it just to make sure it's in the right location. Up. Make sure we tap this side down. Tap this side down along with it, and then hopefully when I unzip it, it doesn't separate it too much. There we go. Just hold it in place. All right. And now I'm going to kind of force it a little bit closer so that my graphic doesn't miss anything. And now I'm not doing like true graphics. I just have a little bit of text that goes across the chest there. But even your text, if it doesn't line up right when you zip it up, you'll be able to tell. All right. Now that should allow me to press, because I have to press up here because that's where the shoulders are. Unless I was going to create a whole new panel up here, then that way I could just press probably here to here and then do a separate panel up top, but I would still have the same issue. At some point I would be pressing up there. All right, so let's cut out our front. So I did a true challenge. If you've ever done the in-person workshop, we do this print because this print is probably one of the most challenging. It doesn't look like it, but anytime you have black in the center of your design, it really tests your pressure. If you're doing like a all over press, it also tests your overlapping, because anytime you overlap and press black, it's going to show. It's just that if you get the settings just right and you practice over and over again and don't ever change your settings on your heat press, then you can almost visually eliminate the overlapping on black. Let me grab my scissors. And let's just take this edge off here. Oh, what did I sign myself up for? This is a lot. All right. So center there. I'm going to definitely make sure I pull it down. Let's check the top here. We have the center at the top here. Should be the top of the zipper. So I just pinched it to find my center. I didn't do any math or anything. So I have to definitely make sure that I cover those shoulders while also making sure that my text is going to make it on the bust. I don't want it to be sitting on the belly. Let's see, down here. I think we're probably more even on this one than we were on the last one. All right, so this one is going to be the easiest to cut. So I'll go ahead and I think this time I'm going to put a little pressure here, like a little weight, I guess, before I use these patches. Just so it's not really heavy, just something to hold that down. Because what was happening last time is I didn't want to tack all the way down yet, because as I was pulling this back, I was pulling up my tack. So I'm going to tack it after. Oh, then y'all won't be able to see. Hold on. Oh, momento. Change of plans. Smooth that. And I'll use this big old buddy. So it should not shift. And like I said, I've tried this thing here. I'm going to pull it. Say on Teflon, I should be able to pull this. Oh, it's pulling my whole Teflon, but that's okay too. Oh, this isn't one to pull. Lift it up. All right, so can you all see? Yeah, I think you can see still. All right. Now I'm going to leave this top part alone because I want to just go ahead and get the sleeve area first. This top part is probably going to be a little bit of a challenge because I'm going to have to do an arch on both sides here. And almost even bunch my cadet collar up because the cadet collar is causing it to fold down and create wrinkles right there. So let's just do as we have been doing before. And I'm creating a little bit of an overlap here for my sleeve. I'm just pinching and rolling. Remember the process. We're just pinching and rolling to get this curve here. And I need that to be just out of the way, just a little bit. All right. And I want to overlap right there. Give me my overlap. Getting tighter, turning more. Whew, jeez Louise. Blade and cutting mat. Let's place down the mat. I'm not going to draw the line. Let me see if I can just follow. Well, I was drawing the line for you all. Not necessarily follow, but is that hanging off? Here, right there. All right, and I'm probably going to cut a little bit outside of this just because I feel like I wasn't like right on it. So I'd rather have a little overlap than a gap. But regardless, I'm trying to keep the line continuous. Like I don't want it to be choppy and look crazy. So even if I'm off a little bit, at least my line looks smooth. At least I'm not chop, 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 chop. And then you can see it, of course, in the press. All right. Woo-hoo-hoo. Now that I have this side, I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down because as soon as I think I'm done with this, I'm going to pull something and not realize that I've overlapped the wrong thing. All right, so let's, and I'm supposed to be spraying the paper. I'm going to spray the fabric just a little bit just because it actually will create a better tack, give it a little time to air a little bit, and I just misted it barely. You do too much of this and you'll see like little, if you ever see the spray paint spit, you'll see those little spit marks all in your print. It will be void of ink in that area because of the adhesive just sitting there, and the ink is not going to penetrate that little glob of glue sitting on there. All right. Woo-hoo! All right, so I am going to, we'll move this over here at a little pressure on this side. Maybe it'll even let my glue tack a little further. And then we're going to, same process to achieve the curve over here. But let me make sure this is flat underneath here right now. I guess it's as flat as we're going to get. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and imagine an overlap because I don't have the print on this sleeve yet, which now that I realize I probably should have done my sleeves last. So hopefully you're not one of the people that just watched the first 10 minutes and saw me do it in a certain order and didn't listen to me talk the whole time, because I guess I'm coming up with solutions to my problems as I'm creating my problems. And I just have y'all to talk to, because normally I'll be talking to myself through this process. But like I said, this is not something that I had planned out and just knew what I was going to do. And if you notice on my mock-up, I didn't do the perfect or the clean edges on everything. I just did it only on the sleeves. And you know why? So if you mock something up and you try to make it look like, oh yeah, we're going to cover all of this up, don't do that. That's why for the class, I did not give y'all a mock-up that had the entire body of the shirt and the sleeves of the shirt looking like it was clean cut. I wouldn't even want y'all to present that to your customer because it's too hard to achieve. As you can see, this is difficult. You would definitely want to cut and sew and probably even send that off. I'm barely seeing my line here, but I'm looking real serious. So hopefully by me looking serious, I'm doing it right. You do the lip bite and the stick out your tongue, and hopefully everything just works. Uglier the face, the prettier the product. You make an ugly face, you're going to get that product right. I'm just fooling with y'all. Okay, so and I'm definitely going to have some white on my shoulders too. Oh yeah, I'm going to have some white on my shoulders. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it intentionally open. So I'm going to crease that right there, leave that seam open. Crease this right here, leave that seam open. And then after I trim these two off, I should be able to get around my collar a little bit easier. Let me go and use my little board. Almost got slick and didn't use it just now. And just slightly putting my blade down. And do not cut the fabric, Shanon. Alright. Slightly putting my blade down, follow the fold. Alright, let's see what that did. I think it did something. Can't tell just yet. Alright, so rip that off. So we have the collar that starts down here, but I need to roll it from both edges. So I'm going to cut this down the center just a little bit above where I want it to stop. I'm not cutting on the fabric, y'all. I have this lifted off of my fabric. So I can cut there, and then that way I can kind of rip this down a little bit and roll it and fold it as I've been doing, because this is an extreme curve. I'm just going to put the corner of this down so I'm not disrupting that adhesive underneath. All right, now, so hard to see my curve. I don't even know if that's the curve I created, but it's a curve nonetheless. Another thing you can do, let me see if I have any pencil that's sharpened here. I have a million pencils, none of them sharpened, go figure. Oh, this was sharpened. All right, so you know how something embosses? You can take your pencil only, don't do this with a pen, and you can try to find that seam by embossing over it. There it goes. You got to get your pencil kind of flat. And as you can see, where it gets darker, that's where the line is. But that's actually my second line. So I'm going to still stick this underneath here, and we'll try that. Why not? So I'm just kind of following it parallel to it because that was my first seam. It's got two seams on that curve. Oh, goodness. Where is this package? It might save me from this right now. All right. Now, I'm not cutting on the fabric, but I am looking down into the fabric. My blade is kind of not quite touching it, but it's kissing. It's kissing the fabric. And that's what I didn't want to do. Ew. I want a smooth curve. That looked choppy to me. If I chop it off anymore, then it's not going to be clean. So we just leave it alone. And of course, all these wrinkles under here are going to give us a little variable too, but I'm going to go ahead and tack it down. Pull it back a little bit so you can get some more tack in the areas where it's most important. I really wish I had my phone so I can make a little pressing pillow, because I think this would have and could have turned out a lot nicer, especially when we put all this effort into it. Okay, I'm gonna move this up here now. They want to spray tack down here, cut that bottom hem off. Piece of paper flew somewhere. Let's see. Yep, so now we should just be tacking here. I'm just gonna let this print overlap here, and it'll be some kind of, maybe it'll look cool, but I'm definitely not gonna try to match that little edge up there. I'm just gonna let it overlap and do whatever it does with overlap. Get this cord out of my way. This has probably been the most expensive paperweight that I've ever purchased. I'm not calling it a paperweight because it's not useful. It is useful. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about trying it out at like a on-demand event, just doing some small, simple items and see how it performs instead of bringing the big. Well, I probably would still bring my big heat press, but this one you don't need all the same power that I need for my big heat press. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna pull this up just a little bit angle here because we didn't spray this side yet, and I want to get this side good and sprayed. And you see there's some wrinkles underneath there. So what we're gonna do, once we get this sprayed down a little bit, I'm gonna do my best to smooth the print into those wrinkles a little bit, and hopefully, that's all I can do is hope at this point. Let air hit it a little bit. Air, you think that you want to put something down immediately when you tack spray anything, and that's with the permanent adhesives and all, but a little bit of oxygen, a little bit of air actually allows it to adhere better, if you didn't know that. So you give it just a little bit of time to let the air hit it, and you'll have better adhesion. than if you just put two wet pieces, you know, let the glue just touch both sides while it's wet. I can use contact cement, that's true. 3M permanent spray, I use that a lot. That's true for that product as well. All right, so whew, I'm tired already. And let me get a little board here. I do notice I can cut a lot more continuous when I use the cutting mat. Well, I'm not saying it's more exact, but it is more continuous. It's probably a little more precise as well. All right, blade down, up in the air. Just barely touching the surface of the paper, letting the blade do the work. Make sure you have sharp blades. You see this piece I can keep for something if I was doing something random. And let's put this back over out of the way. All right. Yeah, Sharon, you might, if you have some tips on using the Easy Press, if you've ever used it, this isn't the Easy Press, this is the Walla Press craft press version. But if you have some tips for using it for doing multiple presses, I'm absolutely interested in that. Just because if I don't have to learn from my own mistakes, I'm actually okay with that. All right, so let's take this back over to the press. I really wish I didn't press this sleeve because now the sleeve is going to get yet another press. But it is what it is. It's going to be what it is. And it's going to be great. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be great. Let's go ahead and make sure my press is cleared off this time with the cover paper down before I move my shirt. Cover paper is down. And this would be nice if my work surface was closer, but I got a lot going on, y'all. And this is not anything that I plan to do today. So next time, I promise. Well, I ain't gonna promise for next time, because next time y'all might get some randomness too. But I appreciate y'all for appreciating my randomness. Taking this over to the press. And then I'll take you over to the press next. I haven't forgotten about you. Y'all coming with me. All right, all right. So now we're doing the front. And it looks like the 16 by 20 is here right now. I think I'm going to press this one. I can pay attention to what this collar is doing here. But then I also have to make sure that I hang this zipper off the back of the press, because that zipper I don't want underneath the press at all. And I cut my print a little too short, so what I'm doing is bunching up my fabric and creating a crease under here intentionally, because I messed up. I cut it too far back. All right, so let's get some cover paper. We're just gonna do this. I am not going to fret over it. I did what I felt I was supposed to do. All right. And we're going to take it this way so we get full coverage over the sleeve. I just hate that I just keep pressing that sleeve. the portable sleeve. I hope it's going to get its chance to be flat someday. All right, let me go ahead and roll that down. The paper on top to kind of give it a little weight so that paper rolls up. If that happens, and it's too much for you, just tape it down a little bit. Just a little bit of regular old masking tape. As long as you're not taping it down to the fabric, the masking tape will work. That heat actually is making the paper roll up. Okay. The other side looks like it's stand down better. Alright. So here is my top. I'm going to push it down. I want to make sure. I'm going to walk to the side, make sure that this press is not going to touch that zipper. Okay, it's not. I just have to be sure. Okay, and dang, I'm gonna press the top of this collar so bad. I don't want to do that, but this is a large format press, so I can't control how much of it's underneath there, unless I basically make custom smaller bottom platens, which maybe that'll be something to do in the future. Who knows? Okay, let me stop procrastinating and just get this done. I just want to see it. I know it's going to have some imperfections, but I think it'll still be a unique creation. And like I said, I wouldn't suggest doing this like customer wise, honestly. It's a lot of energy, and most of the time your customers probably aren't going to want to pay you what you're worth for all of this time, energy, and effort. All right, about 15 more seconds. And we may have to do another press like we did last time if it means that it can get ink into some of the more difficult areas, but we'll just check and see. Of course, we got those pockets in the front that are probably going to create some issues, but we'll just do a little peek and see. Whew, it's a lot of pressure. All right, so let's see. I definitely see the creases or the indentations. Let's see. I'm looking for waves. Usually when you see waves underneath your print, you'll know that you have some air traveling through the print. You may need a little more pressure there. See a couple of waves right there. But let's check. I'm most curious to see. I'll see the waves. If I see the waves, you can actually press it again and usually get rid of the waves by giving it a little more time, temperature. Well, these are actually creases, but I think I'm gonna call that done. Let me roll this back a little bit. I have a little lightness around these seams here. Let me check up here. Now, if I roll this back too far, it is not gonna go back down to the same place, so I can forget about it if I think that's gonna help. I definitely could use a little more heat right here. So yeah, let's go ahead and do it another time and see. Keep that tape now. Let's do it one more time, see if I can get a little of that heat. And I'm actually going to rotate it. Can I rotate it? Yeah, let's rotate it. But just in case, because it's a clamshell, I'm getting more pressure in the back. Just in case it can give you a little more pressure on that neckline. I'm going to take that chance. And then I have to make sure I hang the zipper out down here. So, see how much of this press I want to put under there. Have my zipper hanging out there. Cover paper. And because I did have the cover paper over that sleeve, where'd it go? I'm going to use the reverse side of it to see that sleeve print. See, every time I'm pushing that ink further and further into the garment, so it's getting lighter and lighter. All right, now my zipper's here. Make sure I'm bypassing that. I'm not going to keep my finger down there, of course, but I am bypassing the zipper. Hopefully everything else is okay. Whew. So while that's pressing, I'm going to go ahead and grab my sleeve print and put it in place. And usually when you do a second press, you don't have to do the entire time, but because I have so many inconsistencies in the pressure, I just let it go the entire time. Usually I'll do 30 more seconds instead of doing it the entire time. So let's see. And then I'm going to get rid of this paper because I'll get confused and think that that's a fresh paper, and it definitely has ink in it. All right, so whatever it is what it's going to be at this point. Oh no! I forgot to trim further down here. So it got on my sleeve. Dagnabbit. Dagnabbit. All right. A dark print is going on the sleeve, so maybe it won't be so bad. But I certainly meant to continue that off. I'm tripping. But this came out a little bit better than I thought it would. So I'm not totally mad at it. I'm not completely impressed either, but I'm not totally mad at it. Looks like that lined up pretty good. I do see pressing pillow would have helped here. Right along the top of the pocket there. Right along the side of this pocket here. And then these are just openings. So it actually did really well around the openings. Oh, Lord. All right. So we're going to get this sleeve together. And I think, you know what? I said I was going to press the sleeve last because I'll get rid of that cover paper too. Let's see. Because I still have the bottom hem to do, which that'll be an easy, like, single press, I think, because all I have to do is just hang this off here and flip it. And then this doggone collar. Now, this collar will probably be easier to do on a 16 by 20, so I might do that. And my zipper's good. So let's focus on the collar and the bottom down here. And what I'm going to do while this is hot is kind of stretch my fabric back out because it will permanently put those wrinkles in there. And we can almost change this by, you remember how I took the spray tack before and sprayed a piece of paper? So I'm going to spray tack this to something and hopefully it stretches the fabric out so I can pre-press it. That's a way that I can kind of get my stretch back. All right, so here is the trash can that I'm supposed to be spraying in. See if y'all can see. That's the trash can. So you're really not supposed to be spraying on your surfaces, and even this is too close in proximity. So I'm spraying here so that hopefully I can get my collar to kind of straighten out a little bit. That's not a guaranteed fix, but I already feel like it's doing better. All right, and then this little stubborn crease over here, I might have to spray tack that down, and I might even have to do like pre-press it once and spray it and tack it again. All right, so we'll go ahead and press this on here. So when I create whatever's up here, and this is why I should have thought ahead, because if I was thinking ahead, I would have put something dark up here, which maybe I still will. Maybe I'll do my sleeve print because it's a little bit darker. I'll do that up here because then it'll kind of cover up some of the issues here. All right, so I need a clean sheet of cover paper up top. Let's pull this down far enough. Keep that straight. And I can even kind of spray tack the top sheet too, but then I probably would be doing a little too much because I might be actually setting some wrinkles in there. All right. Push this in just enough to get a little heat right here. Put it back. I'm just trying to get just a few wrinkles out of that. back there. Whew, we learned lots of lessons today. Hopefully. Maybe the first lesson is don't do these. Oh boy. Send these off cutting. So Toya mentioned that she sent some off to Arts Ad and ARTSADD, I believe. And they had a decent turnaround. It was a thinner material, but it was definitely cut and sewn. So that made it worth not having to do all of this. But sometimes if you're in a pinch or you're just creatively trying to see how something can flow, you may end up doing something like this. I don't know why I pressed it for 60 seconds like I was sublimated, but I definitely get a lot more out of this now. And since it's hot, and I just shouldn't have on gloves, but here, let me just at least use this paper. Oh, the paper's hot. Smart, Shannon. Some paper. I want to stretch it while it's hot. It'll help flex some of those wrinkles out. It's malleable at this moment. Okay. Now it's not going to be perfect, but that did absolutely help. So now, what I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one under the heat. I usually don't do this under the heat because it's so aggravating, but let's see what print I'm using. This one. We are supposed to be using this print, but I don't feel like it's dark enough. So I think that what's going to happen is we're going to see a little too much there. And I have a couple of other things just and I'm literally going through random prints that I have just laying around. I have this print that was for a tie. It has a lot of magenta right here, but the black is what's going to break it up. That's not going to give me enough coverage. I have the bottom of this print, which I actually wanted to be at the bottom of that sleeve because I like the black at the bottom. But let's see if it's wide enough. Nope. Oh, oh. Nope, it's not wide enough. I'm just pushing it. All right, well, we'll just do the print that I intended for this. But we'll just know it's not going to be perfect. Now, this one should be a little simpler. I'm going to do a pre-cut. Of course, I took the scissors over to the other table. And since it's already a little janky up top, I almost want to show you what happens when you cut with scissors. Whenever you want it to be smooth. I feel like I can just let that bleed. But no, we're going to do like we're supposed to do. I'm going to leave overlap, fold and roll. Now notice I fold and roll this way, but when I come back on this side, it actually rolls down. So it goes down, here, up, and back down. And then this one, I actually need to roll this down a little bit because I skipped a little bit of space there. Pull this down and do this again. Overlap, 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 overlap. Pivot, pull down, and still overlap. Alright. And over here, I think I'm still. There it goes. And this one doesn't even matter if I overlap because it's so black here. You're not even going to see the print here. So. I need to go ahead and take this down a little bit so while I'm cutting it doesn't move on me. And it's hot under here, so I do not suggest doing this underneath this heat. And I'm hot. I'm going to do it with the scissors because I do want to kind of show you why I recommend using the blade with the cutting mat. Because just naturally, if you have your finger just barely adding pressure, you'll create more natural curves. It is rather difficult to create curves with scissors because they go in a straight line, so you're basically forcing segments to create a curve. And I swear I think I'm seeing the line, but I could be tripping. Right, so that's me cutting it with scissors. Overlapping here, overlapping there, overlapping there. Let me tack that down. And I'm not even going to tack this down with spray. I'm just going to use a little bit of tape to keep this in place. Just make sure you don't put tape on the fabric, not this kind of tape, the masking tape. All right, so we'll do a little cover paper. I think I still have this piece here. And let's see how this does. I'm going to overlap the print just a little bit because that heat even coming off the side profile will cause some of this ink to travel. My front again. I think I got it all. Whew. All right, so after that we have the bottom hem, which I can open this up and probably get this bottom hem. No, we can't get it in one press. It's still going to be two presses because it's a little bit wider. Here to here. Yep, it would just be two presses just because of this little section right here. All right, so hopefully this one's good to go. And then we can go ahead and press the inside collar. The only reason why I'm pressing the inside collar is because I want to, like, you know, the collar of a shirt or a jacket, it's most likely the collar and the wrist are most likely to get dingy the fastest. So if you can color those, usually people can be okay with a white hoodie or a white shirt as long as you don't see. Yeah, see what I was talking about? The black and the magenta there still cuts up into this area. So it doesn't overlap. If I would have thought about it earlier, this is going to be my last press, I would have done the dark as my last. Kind of top off up there. But that's pretty decent. And remember, I told you this came from my Teflon, but I didn't really care because I knew I was going to press something inside of here anyhow. So for the inside of the collar, I'm going to take a little excess of, which one? Didn't think about it, but I had this little piece left too with the little random tiger print left over from the bottom of our front print. Now if I can line this up right, and let's go with this as my edge because this is a factory edge versus my hand cut edge. If you can always use a factory edge, you can be a lot more confident that it is straight. So I'm just straightening this out. And this is going to be in the inside of the collar, so that's why I'm not stressing about this so much. But I'm still doing my little fold and bend. But in this case, I think I'm just a little bit shy on. Now if I move this down, I'm not. Alright. Let's move this down. I'm gonna make that here to here, here to here. Nope, I'm gonna have a little bit hanging off the top there. Let's go inside of that seam instead of outside of the seam. Y'all, it's hot underneath here. Ooh. I think I made a mistake. In the wrong business. Whew. Heat. 1, 2, and I'll probably take it down underneath a little bit too. And like I said, I don't want to put this on the actual fabric, so I am avoiding that. And where I do want it to touch the fabric, I can put a little heat tape. Only thing is that that ink shifts. It's actually gonna, of course the ink is gonna migrate because it's sublimated. Wherever I have the tape, it's not going to migrate, and that can look a little odd. So if you're going to do that, then most of the time you will have to tape the whole way down. Otherwise, you'll see clean places, and then you'll see the ink disperse into the areas outside of the tape. Sure, let's go ahead and make this look clean. This is not, I didn't want to be this perfect, like try to be this perfect anyway. But I just want to let you know what you could have expected if we had only put like a couple of pieces of tape. And it may still do it because the ink may even go lower than this tape that we're putting on here. So we'll see in just a moment. Of course, I have this tape cutter that automatically cuts the tape, so it's making me take my little time. And again, we're using line segments to create a curve. Yeah, don't ask me to do this again. Don't, even on the hoodie. I might, no, I'm not going to say that because if I tell you I might do it, y'all ask me to do it. But to do the actual hood of the hoodie would require the same process that we're doing right now for the sleeve and all that stuff. You're going to have to essentially create a curved pattern for it so that it doesn't go past the shoulder area, which is the hardest thing to do, is to get that hood right where the shoulder meets the hood. So I'm sure that you'll see what that is like doing that process for yourself. Let's go ahead and get this part over with. I have a little bleed up here, so I'm going to place that above my print. And I don't need this to come off of here, so I'm going to just not take the risk of having that bleed out of my color paper. And just manually tear that off. All right, so make sure we have coverage without going too far over. That, and then the bottom cuff of the entire bodice, and yeah, we're gonna call this one done. Whatever it is, we're gonna call it done. Yes, Andre, we do sell the all over printed sheets. I would actually encourage you to contact one of our coaches and business partners, because they can also make sure that your prints are the right size. If you even need help editing the templates, they can help you with that. And they are authorized to print the Innate Lab templates. They are the only people authorized to print Innate Lab templates. So if anybody out there is telling you that, hey, I can do your large format prints for you, and you're using Innate Lab templates, you cannot do that, because we offer prints of the templates. The only thing that you can do is you can print for your end use. And I'm not saying it has to be personal use. I'm saying for your end use. You're selling a product, then you use the templates and create something to sell that product. But if you are buying prints from someone that's not an authorized Innate Lab partner, then that is a violation. So y'all please know that, because when we see it, we do have to take action. And I don't like to take action like that. The type of action that I like to take is getting randomly on these YouTube videos and doing challenges like this, okay? That's my kind of action. Actually, came out pretty cool. Whew, I'm hot. I'm hot, y'all. I'm hot. So now we just have to do this sleeve, and I am going to get away from this heat to do this sleeve, and then we'll bring it back over here, okay? So if you're interested in being a business partner because you have a large format printer and you want to be a part of the Business Partner Network, then make sure you reach out to Erica Kane in the Facebook Innate Creatives group. And we have meetings weekly. It's not just about, hey, you're licensed to print our stuff. It's, hey, let's strategize together. Let's have weekly meetings. Let's talk about growth and success. Let's talk about what you need. Let's talk about what classes I need to offer, because most of the business partners are also in the academy. So they are taking the classes, have access to the templates because they're taking the classes, and they can design for folks PNGs as well as coach them through Photoshop files. So they do it all. I've seen them do it all. I have working proof because most of them have been with me for almost a year or more. So I know their level of work. I know what they can do. And I know how well they can help you. They're good people too. They're people that want to help people, not people that want to hoard all of the information and talent for themselves and bird feed you. They are just like me. They want you to have information as well. They want you to be the best version of yourself and your best business. So they absolutely are an extension of me. All right, so let's get this sleeve done. So let me see how I want to lay this out. think I want to do the darker part of the sleeve. Yeah, I want to do the dark. Dang, but I have this mess up here. So normally I would do my darker part of the sleeve. Let me tilt this down. My darker part of the sleeve down here because, you know, like I said, the darker you can make your sleeves, the less people worried about, because you rub up against stuff with your wrist all day. So you don't want to have like dirty looking wrists on your white jacket. Because I have this mess here, I think I am going to show you what overlapping with the darkest color will do. Let's see. Yeah, so we still have enough color down there to make it work. We'll make this work. So I will place this down here so I can fold across the top. And I'm going to do the taco method. Taco method just means I'm going to fold it in half and kind of get my substrate in that crease. So now I can fold this over. I'm still going to have to spray it. I'm still going to have to cut it special. I have to pull this down a little bit because on the back, the shoulder seam goes a little deeper than on the front. All right, so that is completely covered. So let's go grab our spray tack. Ooh. So we'll spray. I shouldn't be spraying on my Teflon, y'all. I'm letting you know that out loud, so hopefully you at least listen to me and not kind of do as I'm doing right now. This is actually scrap Teflon. This is the one that's not shiny, so it's not as slick. And I like my Teflon slick, so that's why I'm kind of... And plus, because it's Teflon, I can just wipe it. Even if I wiped it with just a napkin and no, you know, alcohol or anything like that, it'll still come clean. So I probably will wipe it with a little alcohol though, because I'm trying my Teflon right now. I definitely am putting it to the test. All right, so that, and then I'm gonna also go ahead and spray down here, but keep in mind I still have to cut this right here, so I'm gonna have to still be able to peel back my print a little bit, but I want to keep it down everywhere else where it counts. So I'm just squishing it in there, and I'm creating like a little envelope for it. All right, and then this way I can still do my little cutting here. So here I am rolling and folding. I'm gonna have a little overlap, and that's cool. I actually want that. And I have all of this excess here. What I should do is trim this, and I'll show you why. It lets me bend it and manipulate that curve better. So if I cut this off, and I'm just cutting off excess, hopefully. Yep. And yeah, I want to make sure I didn't do what I did last time and left too much excess where it went into the wrong areas. All right, so see how much easier it is for me to manipulate it because I can get my hand down in there and pinch and turn, pinch, curve, pinch, curve, and pinch. Let's grab my cutting mat and do it how I'm supposed to do it. All right, where is my blade? And really and truly my fabric shouldn't be bunched up under my cutting board like that. But it is, so hopefully you all can still see here. Let's do my blade, and I'm cutting like, usually I cut where I'm on the right side because I'm right-handed. So if I end up cutting a little poorly, it's because I'm doing it on the wrong side of the cut. I'm kind of looking around my hand right now. All right, let's see what I did. Whew, smooth, baby. Cutting so dupe. I don't know if the dupe is worth it. I don't think it is, but if you had to, this is a method. I don't want to say the method because I don't think this is the anything. It ain't the way to go. It might be the most aggravating thing that I've done for a garment. And what I'm doing here, I'm just trimming this paper. I'm not cutting close to my garment. And maybe I should stop talking before I do just that. A little extra piece there. All right, now I have to do the same thing to the other side. I have to cut my little curve there. Oh, before I do that, let me go ahead and tack this down. Because you see how I'm pulling on it? It's moving that fabric. So let me go ahead and secure this down. And remember what I said, give it a little bit of air before you just let it touch. Doom, 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 touch. Am I the only person, like, as I'm talking, I randomly find the songs that go along with almost every word that I say? All right, so same thing on this side. We're going to look for that overlap we want to create. I'm going to cut off whatever little excess that won't allow me to get in good to that corner. And then I'm going to do my bend and fold. Or bend and pinch. Bending it, pinching it. Bending it, pinching it. Now, if I wasn't afraid of this ink going back into the garment, you could actually kind of, I'm not telling you to do this, but the same idea applies if you've ever created like paper patterns or that sort of thing. Basically, you create the slits so that it has the opportunity to flex. And sometimes you'll need more slits depending on how much of a curve you want. But that's essentially what you're doing. I just cut it off so that this ink doesn't end up going maybe through the paper and ruining something if we're a lot of air. Why am I using scissors? All right, so let's follow the fold line. A little over too much right here. See if I can correct it. All right. Oh, Lord. And you know, I did this sleeve, but I told y'all, well, I don't have anything overlapping because I told y'all I was going to do the bottom hem next, and then I forgot. Yeah, so that was an unintentional lie. My bad, y'all. And I want to get a good little overlap here. Okay, so let me make sure I have cover paper down, which I don't. Let me go ahead and put a piece of cover paper down so I can just quickly do this sleeve. All right, here we go. I'm moving, y'all. almost done. Almost done. Sleeve. Now this armpit is going to end up getting a little more heat. Just make sure we protect the rest with some cover paper here. I'm not pressing this yet. I'm just making sure that I am getting coverage everywhere that I want it. And let me shift this a little bit. That's covering the entire sleeve. All right, let me just do it. All right. So not bad, not bad. Definitely, I guess once I do the bottom hem, I can go ahead and prepare the bottom hem. What did I say I was doing for the bottom? Oh, we're gonna do the true pattern. Touch. So this pattern here is what we're gonna do at the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim this in half. And I think if I did it with a true straight edge, I could be okay. Because I think I can create a straight edge. Find my pieces. Alright, so that's one side. We have to do the other side of the plate as well. So let's just flip it, and we have to use another bottom piece here. Either that, I'll have to make sure I put this somewhere where nothing, yeah. Well, it's cover paper, so I'm gonna imagine that that won't go through. And just make sure that we have enough of this under the press. Manipulate our fabric to kind of stay out of the way as much as possible. I'm not pulling this down yet. I'm just seeing. See, I have my sleeve hanging out there. It's not in far enough. That covers everything, and it is going to crease right there. So let's give it toilet paper. All right, and then I'm gonna go find my bottom hem print. What's going on this side? Let's see. Oh, you know what? I didn't check before I pulled off my paper, but I guess I just feel like it is what it is with this one. Woo. All right. Came out pretty good. And see how my dark overlapped what I had there previous? That's what I was saying I should have taken into account with the collar. I should have done a dark collar. That way, whatever excess I had could have been cleaned up with that. So, again, little random lessons along the way. But it looks cool. It looks cool. So the only thing I have left to do now is the bottom hem. So I'm definitely, and I really like, now this is actually bothering me. But I guess I'm not gonna stress about it because I feel like that's something I would spend more time trying to fix, and it wouldn't even probably do it any justice. All right, so what I'm going to do for the bottom print, I see that there's seams here, which means it's probably going to be straight maybe from here to here, but not necessarily past that. But at least on my table surface, I can get all this laid out. So I'm going to put down some paper first. And that would happen if I was just a little bit short. And I'm going to move my zipper. I got to remember to move my zipper out of the way. Let's put a little bit more paper there in that corner. All right, now this does have a metal bottom part to the zipper, so that is going to cause some issues, so we'll see how much. And let's grab a print. Now I'm going to attempt to make this look continuous, so I'm going to find a point in which my pattern repeats, cut, and just take them together so it'll be one piece. So I'm going to cut through, for instance, this middle true here. Grab a couple pieces of heat tape and just find our overlap. Lift up the bottom here. Put the piece of heat tape only on the bottom piece first, and then lay the top piece on top and secure it. Lift it up. Put the heat tape on the bottom piece only first, and then let the top piece fall on it. The bottom piece has the tape. It's laid down. Top piece falls on top of it. And that's not enough to truly tack it, so I'm going to flip it over and add a couple more pieces of tape here. Alright, so now I have that continuous piece. Like I said, this isn't exactly a straight line, but I think I can make this work. By just folding this back. So I'm not even going to cut this, I'm going to fold it back. Kind of how we did for the inside of the collar. A little overlap. Alright, and then where it won't relax, I can either tear it or cut it, and it'll allow me to fold that down and create little segments. And this is really hot, y'all. It's hot. So this has all three brands. It has the True Colors, it has the Innate Lab, and the Innate Academy. So this is me representing 1000% here. We just barely got to that end there. And I'm going to do a couple of pieces of tape. So maybe I can even show you what happens. So I'm going to put the tape here. And if we have that issue that I told you about, where the ink kind of goes around the tape and it shows where the tape was, you'll see it down here in this yellow. So let's see if that happens. If that happens, you'll get to understand why I did before, where I put tape all the way down. Because I'm not doing it again. So I'm proving a point while saving me some time at the same time. I'm just doing this to secure it. I could also use the glue, but I left the glue on the other side of the room. And I don't want to waste my glue where, you know, a couple pieces of tape will do as well. Because this whole project gets a little sticky. Like literally the jacket is sticky. It has to be washed. All right, so let's put some cover paper down on top of that. And of course, we're only going to be able to press a portion of this, but the majority of it, of course. So let me fold this back where we don't need the print, so I know that I'm not required to print that off. Oops. I'm trying to hurry and do something under this heat and I ripped my print. All right. And the only reason why I'm ripping it off so I know that I don't have to press in that area. All right, so let's go ahead and pull my buddy all the way over and just pull this down a little bit. Let's make sure everything that I want is going to be underneath the heat, because right now I think I'm going to be missing a little bit. And I don't want to overheat the rest of the garment if I don't have to. So that's good enough there. So I'm going to make full contact over here and let it go. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to make sure that it was folded down all the way. So hopefully it is. Because if it's flipped forward, then I will end up pressing it and all my folding and taking it in vain. So we shall see. We'll let it go that full time. And then we have one more press. And I'm going to do a couple of masks. Some just on the go masks that can cover up. And I'm going to make a few out of the scrap pieces that we have from today. Just what happens every time I walk away thinking 60 seconds is enough time to do something else. All right, so I'm going to just pull this down now. Make sure I put this cover paper underneath here. And okay, it stayed down. I'm going to take this off. So I can still use the bottom of that paper. Here, I'm going to make it on the press. Remember that zipper is right there, so it's going to cause a little issue. And so my tape moved a little bit, but it's okay. Let's see. It's yellow down here, so it doesn't look like it pulls with ink up. Now I must make sure that my cover paper is going to protect my print and I'm not overpressing unnecessarily. And remember that zipper's under there, so we'll see if we end up with any white around that hard zipper. So let me go grab some of my scraps and then I'll have something to press the mask up. And all right. And where I had the tape, it didn't do, I don't even really see at all where the ink bleeds around the tape. So it might have happened in like one place where it was a darker color, but it's not detectable at all. So next time I know I can just run with the straight up fold down in a few pieces of tape. So, whew, let's see. Oh, this zipper's still hot, so let me let that cool off. And while that's cooling, before we show the rest of that, we'll go ahead and use up some of the excess prints. Lay down some paper here. Let's see, what can we do with these little pieces? I'm gonna make some like mismatched random masks. So just picking out pieces that are big enough to probably fit pieces of the mask, and then I'll figure out what we're going to use. Alright, I think I want this. So let's see. That one's big enough. And maybe I can even like literally patch. That might be cool. I'm making something up, y'all. I'm making it up. This is not like a part of the scheduled program. So if it seems random, it's because it is. Like I said, today is one of those random days. I never tried this before, but I saw all of this excess of my prints, and these prints have actually been pressed before. But if you notice, you'll a lot of times you have part of the print that just really didn't release a lot of ink. So I wanted to see what I can do with those pieces. And figure what better to do than some rando masks. Oh, you know what? I can't do that because then I would have to tape it all at the bottom. So I would have to blindly put them on the top. Nah, I'm not going to do all that. That's too much work. But what I will do, I'll still do a little bit of randomness. So I will randomly do one side and we'll do a different pattern on the other side. I was going to kind of create like a little, what's what they call piecework, patchwork type of look, but that's a lot. And then I have to remember that there is a top to this mask, and I believe it goes this way. I think it goes that way. Alright, let's see, I haven't done this piece yet. I'll make the wood piece go across the other side. Alright, let's see what else. I like this little squiggly print here. And like I said, I have a little bin with these scrap pieces from some items I pressed earlier. So these tiny pieces I won't use, but the ones that are big enough to cover the whole mask, I can use those. Let's see, is that big enough? Not quite, but I do like this. So let's see how we can incorporate it. A little drip and what is this called? Diamond plate. Little drip and diamond plate there. It works. So we'll do 3 masks with whatever random on one side and hopefully something different on the other side. And we'll see how they come out. A piece of chain there. Maybe I can use that on one of them. Let's get this out of the way. These scraps be trashed because they're too tiny to do anything with. And hopefully I don't disturb it when I put my cover paper on. I think that one shifted just a little bit. It's still good though. I'm trying it because my substrate literally ends right where the edge of my press is, and I just should have moved the whole substrate up just a little bit. So we'll press that and then get our opposite side prints ready. Jumped around. All right, so on this other side, this one, I'm going to do something other than the drip. So we'll do the little tree print there. And I'm only tearing it off because it's a little too big and I want to make sure I can fit everything on here. So this one, we'll do something other than the diamond plate. We'll go with the 90s print. And then finally, this one, let's go with something colorful because this almost looks white. I wish it would have had a little more color in there. Let's see, something colorful. Let's do a little piece of the blue with the chain. If I can get that on here. Trying to get the chain actually in the design because you really don't see what bleeds off into the ears. So that looks good. Now this time, our cover paper over. And let's push this whole thing back a little bit. All right. That's the last press. And I'm turning this heat off. I think I got everything else done. I think the jacket's cool now. Oh, bye, Jessie. What? Cute ass. We're gonna be singing what? Y'all wanna do some karaoke? Let me tell y'all how much I love y'all. You heard me talking about how hot it was, right? I went and put on this jacket just for y'all. And I'm super hot now. Hot. Touch. That is definitely hot. Can you get rid of that now? Let's see what we have going on here. Oh, let's see. Can y'all see me? Let me back this up a little bit. So maybe I got all my little randomness in the background. I just wanted you to see. So this is the jacket. This is what we created today. All kind of randomness for you. One print style here, different print style here. This is the 90s template. This is the 150 and 151 template. This is the exclusive 002 template, the WAP template. This is the pattern class. We also did this one with the Peace, Love, and True. So basically you took your logo and made a pattern out of it. That's also around the band at the bottom. And on the back, this one is, and y'all see my lightning strikes. Those are my jetpack jets. That's what those two lines are. So ask me, and this is my jetpack jets. Okay. This one was $149, the Candyland theme one. So basically I used not all of them, Lord, not all of them, because we have over like 100 templates. I used 5 different templates, I believe, to just combine and make an experience. So then that way when I'm traveling, hopefully, people can kind of get the idea that this is custom and ask questions and that sort of thing. So I'm going to show you the masks as well. And I have on custom socks too. So I keep it real casual and simple. I wear t-shirts and socks everywhere I go. And although I'm not dressed up like Jazzy, I promise you I get inquiries about business every single day. All right, so this mask, we did half and half. I think this one goes this way. So half and half mask. I can wear this one with my jacket, and it just goes just because I have 5 random patterns on here. This one we did the chain on one side. Yeah. There we go. So I just used scrap to make these. I didn't even plan what these masks are gonna look like. I got out of trying to make these masks and socks perfect, and now I just use excess material to make masks and socks. Whatever I was already printing, I just put on the excess of it on the mask and the socks. So we get a good little combo deal going on. Okay. So I'm gonna get away from this press number 1 and out of this jacket number 2. So I wanted to see if y'all had any other questions. Y'all wanted me to show you anything else? What y'all want to learn next? I think we're going to do baseball jerseys next week if I can get to it. I'm working on this little patch project here. Maybe we'll get to do something like that. Whew. So I had to get away from the heat. Let me get to where I can talk to y'all for a second. And I'm checking your comments here. Oh, thank you, Inez. Says she loves it. I got you, E. All right. All right, love. So let me get up off of this live. I'm wondering why my package has not arrived, so I got to take care of that as well. But I just wanted to share like a challenge with you all. Maybe you all can try it too on a hoodie or jacket or something complex and kind of make it look like it's cut and sew. And let me know how you did. Let me know what you think. I can show you a little more close up here what we did. One sleeve, the back with my jetpack marks, and then this. I think this is my favorite sleeve. I like how it's dark and then lightens up. And of course, this is the one that we normally do for the workshop. And the black didn't do so bad at all. I thought it was going to do a lot worse. Black is your telltale of how good or bad either your press is or your process is when doing all overs. So it didn't do bad at all. And when I zip it up, it still spells Innate Academy, so I'm happy with that. And we have a little masterpiece. I could turn my collar down and I can be a little wildcat, or I can turn my color up and be true. All right, so let me stop being goofy. I'm tired, y'all. I'm hot. I'm glad we got through this together. Yes, stick with the sewing. As a matter of fact, so Q teaches cut and sew. I would love, Q, for you to do something like this as a class, and maybe even compare the amount of time that it took me to press all of these pieces, because we've been here for some time. It's what, about 3 hours? 3 hours literally. But I mean, and this is prototyping, so hopefully, you do it and you get better. But I think I could have made this jacket in 3 hours. I hope so. Or I could have sent it to somebody in China and they would have made it in like 3 minutes. They have industrial equipment, they have assembly line set up. It is no games. Like yeah, they continue, so they don't even cut the pieces off. They just, like, if they're sewing a band, the top, or the collar or whatever, they just keep 3,000 bands just going. They don't even cut the strings off as they go. So that's what kind of operation they have. That's why they're able to do cut and sew at a much faster rate. It's the way it's set up. It's a process. It's a system. So once you get systems in place, you can improve your time, your efficiency, and all that good stuff. All right, my loves. Let me get in this camera for just a second because your girl is tired. I know y'all can see it. I appreciate you all. I love you dearly. And until next time, you know what it is. Bye. Y'all take it easy. I see you in Chicago on Saturday if you're coming to the workshop. But don't expect to see me on YouTube or anything else. Probably until next week, okay? I love y'all. If y'all have questions, make sure that you contact Erica Kane in the Innate Creatives Facebook group. Also, make sure that you're reaching out to our coaches and our business partners to get your prints. If you need help with one-on-ones as far as Photoshop or PNG images that you might need, that's why we are putting these resources in place so that we can help one another. And eventually you'll be able to do this stuff on your own. And maybe even you'll be a coach or you'll be encouraging someone else down the road. Jay, you're welcome. All right, my loves, y'all take it easy. Have a beautiful weekend. If I don't get to talk to you or see you all until next week, and I will definitely have something cool in store for class on Wednesday, okay? All right, loves. Bye.